for joining me today. This is Nichel Anderson. I'm your host for my podcast show, Nichel Anderson, Short Stories and Beyond. And today we are continuing on with Atlantis. This would be part 6. So thank you so much for that as I start my season 5. Let's go over a couple of things before I start. And with this particular podcast, I mostly talk about my main production, Mole, which is part of my book, Mitsrayim, a Memoir of a Past Life in Ancient Egypt. You can get that at Barnes & Noble or at Amazon. If you have already purchased my book, I do ask if you can leave a positive review. I really appreciate that, and that definitely helps towards my mission to turn my book into a full feature movie. I do ask for you to consider to listen to my other podcast releases that I release. Like I said, going on my 5th year podcasting. And definitely tune in when I have my live shows. They can be very fun and entertaining. I am focusing on relationships that I'm going to be start doing those live shows, because most of my stories is all about relationships, about connecting, learning, loving in a positive way. And so I do ask you for that. Please visit my website, which is mole.com, part of my production, and my book and all of that. And you can get t-shirts that is in line with Ancient Egypt. Of course, I will be rolling out t-shirts for Atlantis. If I haven't already, definitely check that out. You can definitely get discounts and so forth. If you want to look at any of my previous productions where I, as a writer or a screenwriter, as well as a director, you can go to Real House, that's REEL, and then house.org/prestige, and you can see all my previous productions that I produced, that I wrote, and so forth. See, and on my social media, please follow the production, which you will have that at Twitter. So I'm on twitter.com/Mole, and definitely on Facebook. You can just type in Mole or Moments of Love in Ancient Egypt. And we on Instagram, and that's Mole8. So follow us on that. And I have a comic book series that I launch. If you are interested in that, you can go to Webtoons. You should see that link in the description of that. So I ask you to support by following and sharing, commenting and so forth, and definitely purchase the comic book series. If you want to know all of this of what's going on, my platform here, I'm on Podbean. If you go to Nichel Anderson Short Stories Beyond.podbean.com, everything, if you want to know about me and my production, and me as a director, as a writer, a producer, an author, the merchandise, my other brand, Mole Beauty, that I expand the brand into healthy luxury body oils and so forth, and it's for men and women. You will have links to that particular website, molebeauty.com, and where we at on social media, so all those good stuff. So let's get to Atlantis. Part 5 that I released that earlier this month. I was returning back from the 4 parts that I did. I have decided just to make, since it has been like 2 years that I had, last time I released Atlantis, when I rolled it out, decided just to go ahead and make this a full story to share, and eventually it will become, like a paid premium. I haven't did it yet, but I said I'll go ahead and do it, and then when I do have those premium episodes, I'll release that, announce that, and then you can be able to be a member and pay for that, which will probably be on this platform, Podbean, and I have another platform. All right, so I do encourage you, if you have listened to the other parts 1, 2, and 3, and 4 of Atlantis, to go and get a brief of that, and I'm going to move forward. All right, so let's go ahead and pick up where we left off in part 5, and this short story is part 6, and let's get started. So let's begin. For this week of my Season 5 podcast show, Nichel Anderson, Short Stories and Beyond, 2021 to 2022. For this week, Part 6, Atlantis, entitled, Behold, a Betrayal is Amongst Us. Opening scene. In the Hall of Reasons, the capital of Atlantis, there were a lot of discussions of several matters, mainly of Metum's still disappearance and the rising power of twins, Arente and Makato, and what Qanos' findings of the regions of Feke, 22 degrees to the southern region. We see standing in the middle of them King Acobi of Atlantis, dressed in the Navy Army orange garment attire that fitted his still muscular physique and rising mountain of grayish-brown hair, as he rubbed his goatee, milled, and was listening and to absorb everything being revealed by his highest advisors. Makato, his twin daughter, was there sitting to the far right up, with her long Nubian hair pulled back with the vines of coral reefs in the light yellow gold dress that had a shoulder strap wrap, exposing jewelry that glistens in the azure rays above the glass crystal dome that surrounded them all. Makato was listening and fulfilling the understanding that as the moments increased forward, that her powers were increasing, as well as her twin brother Arente, and their power together transcended the logical manifestation known by those of the constellations of Ten and the remnants of ancestors of ancient Subna. There, the first matter at hand was King Acobi's mission to discover where was his oldest son Metum, and how to implement the powers of his twin children to find and take care of those that betrayed the royal family therein. One of King Acobi's advisors suggested that the matter of the wife rose more so. Makato revealed what her friend Qanos, the species that were called purpinus, that in future times would be of the dolphins region of leniency, that Qanos discovers in the regions of Faco. He spoke telepathically to Makato of his findings and who he saw there. An urgency approached King Acobi that he must move forward. So he said, "We need to move at the moment of now, rather than another." Everyone nodded, and then Makato stood to speak in front of all of them, as she too, along with her brother, are joint rulers of the southern region of Atlantis that was ordained by her father and others of rule to bring forth the balance in the skies above and on planet Tamat. She spoke with precision as everyone turned to listen. Makato said, "I move to denounce all tidings to be redirected under my father's rule as we sort out the whereabouts of the location of my brother Metum. Acts of my father and those that advise him to listen therein. For in this move, I feel we will push out those that wish to gain in wealth to uproar the position of power in the northern region of Atlantis." Everyone nodded and forces were heard in agreement. Arente felt the agreement as he and the General Mafeso and other soldiers were still in position of the northern region, seeking the whereabouts of Metum still. But in a telepathic move, he was connected to his sister, and they both agreed. A subtle position of strategy. One of the advisors spoke that was in the central domain of Atlantis, in the capital, to Makato of what she was saying to them. He spoke and said, "What about his wife, Checo? She has been forcefully upset of removing any powers she thought had after this disappearance of Metum, your older brother Makato, and your son, Acobi, King Acobi. What is this that we should do?" he asked. King Acobi spoke. It will still stay that way, for what Qanos spotted and saw. My son's wife, Checo, and an unknown groups of those not known to us speak of her questionable stance. We have watchers amongst that one, and in the palace. Just then a messenger from the southern region approached King Acobi, and he read the message to then slowly looked up. And then he spoke. "Bring armies of Atlantis from the center of the domain, from therein to the region of Faco, and stand at wait as Makato entrance and bringing order to that for therein, as I, as well as those here, feel that there is more to discover. Those that are against the rule of balance self-form that led to the disappearance of my older son, Metum. We shall see who will fall. Insane.